Soweto Derby. Manchester United continue to struggle. It's Football Friday and it is Derby weekend. This is ONSIDE ZA, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Remember to use the affiliate code ONSIDE ZA when joining the Betway app. Joining me, however, today in studio once again, Len Moleko.
Hey, what up?
Seppi Worldwide.
Hello, darling.
And of course, everyone's favorite super sub.
Danko.
It means thank you.
Danko means thank you. Guys, welcome to it. We've just come off of the back of some seriously interesting Champions League fixtures, interesting Champions League results, VAR drama. What a week of football we've had. Let's start off with the Champions League, guys. Shall we? Super Sub, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on the media company, which also somehow has a football team still called Manchester United.
What do you mean?
They're just a media machine now.
Come
There's no
on.
more football involved.
What?
You know what's the funny thing is? They're in Group A. Imagine, hey?
Yeah.
Are we still going to talk about the team, guys?
My man,
We're wasting time.
we're talking about Champions League.
We're
and,
talking Champions League.
And we
they-
cannot start from Group F. We have to start from Group
Hey,
A.
are you
And then
serious?
Group A has got Manchester United.
It's got Bayern München.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's start with Bayern Munich, obviously already qualified as group winners. So they cannot be caught by any of the other teams here.
The beauty with Bayern is, beauty and beast, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Or beauty and the disadvantage with them is, in the Bundesliga, yes, they're doing well in the league. They got knocked out of the cup, so they're not competing on three fronts anymore.
Yeah.
They only have two cups to go for.
Yeah.
So them doing well in the Champions League is very crucial. And they will also be hoping to keep the momentum going
Yeah.
in the league as well. And
Yeah,
fight
because they've
off-
been kicked out of their own domestic cup.
the
The
Pokal.
Pokal
DFB Pokal,
which
yes.
we can just call it the German Cup.
Yeah.
Really.
League Cup, yeah.
But out of this group, who is going through, guys? It's a tight one.
So
eh?
Bayern Munich already
Obviously,
through,
out of the
and
three
then,
that are
Well,
remaining.
we already
then
know.
their second
yeah.
and third place is interesting and important. Manchester United and Galatasaray will be favourites to still pick up that second spot.
yeah.
Manchester United in serious danger of being in either Europa League or out of European football altogether, with two fixtures remaining. Their maximum figure that they can achieve is 9 points.
So the problem for Man United, I feel, is they still have to play Bayern.
And
So
Galatasaray.
Bayern have already won their group. Will they put out a full-strength team at Old Trafford for the last game of the season? The important game is the next one against Galatasaray in Turkey.
I think that they are going to want to do that. I think if you are already shining high, there's absolutely no reason why you are going to be doing any favors for Manchester. Why would you want to do that?
Resting players, perhaps, for your own domestic
Oh, look,
incursions.
I don't see that.
in a busy period.
They try to do that in the League Cup, in the Pokal. The likes of your Harry Kane was not playing.
Right.
It's a new league for him. He needs to get as much gelling with the rest of his teammates as possible. So having him play, even in what would essentially be a dead rubber, is also them making a statement on some, we are Bayern Munich, we are back, don't take us for granted.
Yeah.
And Thomas Tuchel also would not want to be registering anymore else because
He's already out of cups.
He's hanging on a thread by virtue of being knocked out of the Pokal.
And a poor performance against Dortmund on the weekend.
And there's that too.
Not that Bayern Munich have a traditionally very good record against Borussia Dortmund in the German league in recent years. Bayern Munich's recent record against Dortmund's quite poor, so it shouldn't have really surprised anyone. And we did say last week that if you're going to place your bets, Dortmund's a good one to make some money on because the odds were stacked against them. And we believe that they had a good chance of winning that game, and they did.
And they did.
Yeah, look, Thomas Tuchel is not going to want to lose any game. Like Len said, he's hanging on a thread. Because if you look at the league, he's second now in the league.
Bayer Leverkusen. Yes.
And usually Bayern is always up there on top with like a good gap, you know? And also him being out of the German Cup, Champions League is the only thing that will save him, you know? So he will go all the way out. I don't see him
Yeah.
being soft on United for
So
any reason.
even if Bayern Munich were to win that game against Manchester United, here's some of the articulations or configurations that would allow Manchester United to qualify in second place in their group ahead of permutations.
Calculator is
Thank you,
out
sir.
now.
That's a,
There's
wow.
a
here's the
level of
calculator.
No, let's hear.
So Copenhagen's next game is against Bayern Munich.
Yes.
If Bayern Munich were to win that game, as may be expected, even though Bayern Munich have already qualified from the group as group winners, Copenhagen would remain on 4 points, and Manchester United would go on to 6 points if they were to beat Galatasaray in Turkey, leaving the final remaining fixtures to play. If those final remaining fixtures were to end with Bayern Munich to beat Manchester United could still qualify for the group stages of the Champions League were Copenhagen and Galatasaray to end their final game as a draw. They would finish on 5 points after a loss to Manchester United for Galatasaray and a loss to Bayern Munich for Copenhagen. A draw would leave them on 5 points each, finishing the Group A standings with Manchester United in second place were they to beat Galatasaray. So this is the first best case scenario in terms of allowing things to fall into the hands of other teams. Manchester United need to concentrate purely on the idea of beating Galatasaray in Turkey.
You
Because
sound ambitious,
basically-
and I like that for you, Marco. I really do like.
Oh, I'm
I
not.
love
I'm
that for
talking
you.
about permutations and what they
Yes.
need. What they need to
Yeah,
do.
and I like that for
I
you.
have
I
very
would
little
like to-
belief in the squad at the moment, like many others would.
I like
The-
that for you
yeah.
still. I think it's
But
nice.
But
You know,
essentially,
that you still have,
it's still in their hands.
Yes,
It's still in
exactly.
their. So
Yeah.
currently, it's still in their hands. So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that for them to keep it in their hands, they will have to go on and beat both Bayern Munich and Galatasaray to absolutely make for sure that they will go through in second place.
That's a tall ask.
If Copper and the even that does not guarantee them second position, by the way. Copenhagen could go and get 3 points against Bayern Munich and then go and beat Galatasaray afterwards. Actually, in fact, if Copenhagen were to lose to Bayern Munich and then beat Galatasaray, even Manchester United's 6 points would not be enough for them to qualify from the group stages. They would then have to get something against Bayern Munich to
in
qualify
order for
from
them to
this group.
qualify.
Jeez,
Yeah.
man, it's a messy.
Yeah.
It's messy. They must
So-
just bow out, man.
So if Copenhagen or so even if Manchester United were to win their remaining 2 games, Copenhagen wins in both the Bayern Munich fixture and their next Galatasaray fixture in the final day, would mean that Manchester United would have to settle for a spot in the Europa League, even if they are to win their final 2 games.
They're used to Thursday night. It's fine. It serves them well. And the interesting thing is, Copenhagen have not won a Champions League game in 7 years until on Wednesday.
Oh yes, they have had. According to this, yes, they have had a string of non-wins. In fact, I'll tell you now. Yes, Copenhagen fall into a similar category, having drawn all 3 home games in the group stage last season, while failing to score at all away from home.
Wow.
So speaking of teams that like to play on Thursday nights, Sevilla sitting bottom of Group B, and you think it's almost strategic, Len?
They want to go to Europa.
finish third, don't they? Super Son?
They want to go to Europa.
The kings of the Europa League, they can't possibly think that they should be in the knockout stages of the Champions League. That's not in their best interest.
No, it doesn't
It's
work.
best for them to finish third.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for the narrative. And if you look at the teams and their performances over the 2 legs against Arsenal, that is not a Sevilla that you know.
No, definitely.
And they're struggling in La Liga too.
And also, if you look at their group, it's not a very tough group. I mean,
it's a
PSV,
very-
Lens,
yes. Yes, it is. And also, I mean, that same group is a group that Lens Arsenal's going to be after them not being in the Champions League after 7 years. So
We are cruising nicely.
yeah, after a full 7 years and them finding themselves, yeah.
So Arsenal not guaranteed their spot in the
just need 1
knockout
point. They just
stages
need 1
of
point.
the So 1
Still
point will
open.
guarantee them that spot. Of course, both PSV and Lens
Yeah.
capable of finding themselves on 11 points as things currently stand.
Yeah, but Lens is also the lowest ranked team anyway. So chances of them even progressing.
they
is
beat
very
Arsenal.
low.
And like you say, just the point is enough for
Yeah.
Arsenal because they would be taking the opportunity away from either PSV or Lens to achieve the 11 points. So 10 will be enough at that
So
point.
effectively, as it stands, one way or another, Arsenal's journey in European football is not ending.
Yes, so
No,
Arsenal
definitely not.
are guaranteed at least third place as Sevilla will not be able to accumulate enough points to catch Arsenal.
yes.
Facts.
Sevilla's maximum points tally,
It will be 8.
possible points tally rather, will be 8. So Arsenal guaranteed European football to continue as the season progresses. They'll be hoping for group stages. They're likely to go through to the group stages, as you rightfully said.
Yeah, so it's Arsenal and PSV.
All ends they're on 5 points each. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and Sevilla hasn't been really doing well domestically. I mean, they've only won 2 games this season.
Sevilla been
They're
very
at the
poor in
bottom
the
right
Liga,
now.
as
They
we
start
said,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
log
they're on the
standings,
bottom half of the
Yes.
of the standings, and it just goes to show you that why they're struggling now in Champions League, even though it's an unfamiliar territory for them.
Of course, we joked about them wanting to finish third for thing. I'm sure they would have wanted to go through to the group stages. They're not performing well, and the way they're playing, they'll be lucky to be in the Europa League this
No,
season.
definitely.
Look, I think they just
It
need
would be
to
so disappointing
if they
after
str-
winning the Europa and not now being able to even qualify.
stringing 2 wins. They can be in the Europa. String 2
I mean,
wins.
a draw and a win could be enough for them even. They could
a
finish
draw-
on 6 points.
A draw and a win.
So
I mean, this is
it
after
could be
4
enough
games
for
and they
third.
only have 2 points, guys. Let's
But
be
that-
realistic.
that
It's
would-
looking very bleak.
That would be
at
in the
this
hopes
point.
that PSV and Lens don't pick up any more points and they get a draw and a win to finish guaranteed third.
Yeah. Look, it's looking sketchy for them at the moment. A win would obviously go on to become a case of head-to-head or goal difference and all of that jazz. But as it stands, they need to be eyeing PSV and they need to be eyeing Lens to say, we need to beat one, draw one, or beat both of them.
Yeah. Well, they should be aiming for 2 wins to make it absolutely sure. Group C, the best team in world football, Real Madrid.
Of course.
Solid.
Qualified already with 12 points, qualified guaranteed top of their group even, as Napoli. Are they guaranteed top of their group? No, not as yet. Sorry, my apologies. Napoli is still able to mathematically achieve 13 points.
Yeah.
So, but guaranteed through as they cannot be caught by Braga, the Portuguese side, and Union Berlin with the solitary draw against Napoli on the opening match day.
Braga can still
catch
catch,
them.
No,
can
no,
catch
mathematically.
Napoli.
Yes, so what I'm saying is Real Madrid cannot be caught by Braga, and that's
yes.
why they're guaranteed to
The
be
spot already.
qualifying for the knockout stages of the Champions League. They're not guaranteed first place, which is a seeding issue, which they will achieve. I mean, they're currently 5 points ahead of Napoli. Just a draw ensures that they finish top of the group from 2
I think
remaining
they will
fixtures.
finish top of the group.
Yeah.
Napoli were not really impressive against
And
Union Berlin.
I think Napoli will take the second spot. I think this is the most obvious group that we've got so far.
Yeah,
is
it is
that
straightforward.
it will. I believe this group will finish as it currently stands.
I think so too.
I think Napoli are strong enough to, and with the 4-point gap ahead of Braga, the 1 win guarantees them group stages. Braga, I don't believe will have many problems with Union Berlin taking that 3rd spot from them either. Union Berlin struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
And to be fair to them, they've not been in a Champions League competition like as a stalemate. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not a household name in
Not at
European
all.
And
football.
also the way
so-
they're doing things now, it's a bit weird. I mean, Union Berlin was like that kind of team that almost like would get nobody's, and I'm saying nobody's out of respect because I don't know them. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm calling them nobodies.
But they got Bonucci.
That's what I'm going to. They were never, that model was never a model that they used. Now they're getting a model where they've got like superstar players like Leonardo Bonucci. And you can see he's not the same player he was at Juventus. The years are catching up and he's a superstar player. And there are expectations that he would go to Berlin with. And that's something that almost sort of like destabilizes the team. And I feel like Berlin this season almost are going through that destabilization.
Yeah, and also they are sitting down there in the bottom as well, just like Sevilla are, you know.
Exactly.
So it looks like teams that are struggling here in Champions League.
domestic
They're also
cups.
league
Struggling
blood.
domestically.
Yes, they are.
So, speaking of struggling in Champions League, Benfica is responsible for the 0 on their points board and the 0 in my Betway account as well, because I've been losing money there.
You support Benfica?
I'm a big Benfica fan since I was a child.
You didn't
so-
know.
No, I
Wait.
think I saw the T-shirt. You had a T-shirt of Benfica at
Last
some
week.
point.
No.
Yeah.
Was it not last week?
I've not worn a Benfica shirt
Who
here,
was wearing a
but
Benfica? Who was wearing a Benfica T-shirt?
No, it was not a Benfica
what
shirt.
was it? Was it a Borussia?
Borussia was me last
Oh, it
week.
was you. Okay.
No. Marco has not worn.
I've not worn Benfica. I do
Which
wear
one?
Portugal shirts.
Which
and
one does have an eagle on top?
Benfica, but it's I haven't worn.
I've seen you with that one.
I think
mean,
you
I've
maybe
seen the
maybe
Benfica.
you've seen my Atletico Paranense shirt from Brazilian League.
Perhaps, yeah.
But yeah, Real Sociedad and Inter leading this group. Sociedad playing very good football. Good football side. La Liga sides traditionally strong in Champions League.
Yeah, they're consistent.
Inter, we know just how good they can be. I mean, they went all the way
went to the
along in last season's Champions
Yeah, and
League.
they actually beat Benfica in the quarterfinals last season. In the Champions League.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the rate they're going, they can't be caught. So it's both of them.
Well,
born.
both have already qualified for the group stages.
Even
so
if
now,
Salzburg gets Red Bull, it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, so
it's
Red-
not gonna fly, bro.
So yeah, again, even if Salzburg win their remaining fixtures, they'll have a maximum points tally of 9.
9, yeah.
Which doesn't allow them to catch either Inter or Sociedad. So the two of them have already qualified for the group stages. What's left to play for between Benfica and Salzburg is that spot in the Europa League.
Yep.
And between Sociedad and Inter, they
still in
are
the
playing for seeds. Yeah, so that they play against the second seed side in the next round. So that's what's left to play for in Group D. Now, moving on to Group E, Atletico Madrid, no surprises there. Best team in the group by far. Lazio performing quite well.
Still a very close group, though.
Yeah, it's very close.
Very
yeah.
close group. I
Anything
mean,
can happen,
no
yeah.
surprise that Celtic struggling in that group. The team with the least resources there.
Yeah.
So I don't expect them to accumulate the remaining 6 points needed for them to qualify for the Europa League. So I expect them to not be there, and I expect Atletico Madrid to either finish top or second of the group. So between Lazio and Feyenoord to fight it out for who stays in the Champions League and who goes off to Europa.
Yeah, and Lazio is also a team that plays in the Serie A, and you find them to be consistent at the top. I think they finished number 2 in their respective league last season. So it's one of those teams that you know that are going to either progress. I see Lazio and not Feyenoord progressing.
So
For a bit of Dutch flavor, I want Feyenoord to go through.
well,
because
PSV should already.
Yeah, we've got that.
PSV over Lens, don't
So
you
we've got
think?
some Italians, we've got
Sorry,
some
let's just go
Spanish.
back to
No,
that group quickly.
they both on 5, and they still
yeah.
need to play each other.
That's why I'm saying you don't see PSV qualifying over Lens
They haven't been that
or
impressive. For me.
Lens.
They haven't been that impressive for me.
Okay, interesting. So for me, I see Lazio qualifying for
Me
this.
too.
Personally, I feel like they're slightly stronger. And I think that's actually good news for Feyenoord because I think they could have a better run in the Europa League because then they could actually have a run. Because I don't, if Feyenoord were to qualify from this group, I don't see them going through any further because they'll be a second seed and they'll be facing a first seed side in the first knockout round.
Actually, then they can't face Arsenal because no, they can
They
because
can.
they're in the same group.
Depends on how the draw works out.
You must always look for a sitting duck there in the 16s, and then last 8 anything goes.
So moving on to the tightest group, Group F, the group of death. We mentioned this when the draw came out. Borussia Dortmund leading ahead of PSG, which is mildly surprising, perhaps. AC Milan, good football side, struggling domestically a little bit, especially in their last 5 or so fixtures, really struggling in recent weeks. And then Newcastle, we know how good they are. They're still going to have a fist at this. And this group, by no means, don't ask me to call who qualifies from this group or not.
You know, I think, especially in this past match day, Saudi Arabia were unlucky to go into a game against.
What is Saudi Arabia?
Sorry.
What is Saudi
Newcastle
Arabia?
United. They were unlucky.
That was a mistake, Helen.
Eh?
That was a mistake.
Yeah, no, that was an error.
Slip
Sorry.
of the
Slip
tongue.
of the tongue.
Oh, yeah, right.
They had come off a grueling game against Arsenal on the weekend. And to have given what they gave and also go up against a Borussia Dortmund side who I don't want to say they were cruising against Bayern, but I don't think their game was as tough as what Newcastle had to experience against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
having to go and face a Borussia Dortmund side that is like, okay, cool, like let's go for it. Borussia Dortmund side that knows how to play Champions League. They've
Definitely.
Even
season
after
com-
losing the young man Jude, they're still flying high.
they lost
yeah.
what's his name? They lost
And
Haaland.
Raphael
Yeah.
also.
They just keep.
And they
Yeah.
they like
just keep
effectively-
producing.
They
They've got the
They
formula
keep
that works.
regenerate. Yeah. They yeah.
And also, I mean, Newcastle are new kids in the block in a way, you know, so they still have to find their feet, you know.
Also, is there a better home ground advantage for almost any club in Europe than Dortmund with that yellow wall?
There's two.
Maybe Liverpool.
Yes, both of them. Those
Yeah.
two.
Those two.
Yeah.
Those are the two toughest
It's
grounds.
difficult to
to
come out of with anything there.
Yeah.
And the irony is they both sing "You'll Never Walk
So
Alone."
I think obviously the quality in PSG's side, we didn't see it in the last match day, but I think that should get them over the line. AC Milan's recent struggles make you worry for them qualifying from this group. Newcastle, we know how good they are.
We saw how good they were last week.
So again, don't ask me for predictions from this group.
Yeah,
This
no,
is a
I'm
tough,
staying out
tough
of this
group.
one.
I say Borussia and PSG.
I say
As it
PSG and
stands.
Newcastle.
You think as it stands, you don't think Newcastle will slip into Europa League at least?
No, they need to go to somewhere in January there to go. No, they won't. Experience counts a lot. Eddie Howe has not. If we look at the coaches in this, majority and the teams in this, majority of them are season in, season out campaigners in the Champions League.
Yeah, for sure.
Newcastle are new in it. It's
Yeah.
a case of you
They've
need to
been out of European football for a long time.
you need to balance your midweek, your cup competitions, because
in
also
a,
take
in
into
a
account.
tougher domestic league as
Yeah,
well.
take into account Newcastle had played Manchester United in the Carabao Cup midweek that other week.
Yes.
Saturday they played Arsenal, and then Wednesday they played Borussia Dortmund. So you need to know how to balance all these
And
competitions.
you need the squad size for it, which Newcastle just
Yeah.
haven't been able to achieve just yet.
Oh, they've got Jen.
So yeah, anyway, tightest group you'll see.
I've called it.
Group G, now we're starting to see it be a little less tight because two teams have already qualified for this one. Manchester City, top of the group. Red Bull Leipzig are
Second.
potential winners of the group, but I don't see it happening. City should run away with this one.
Yeah.
And then a Wi-Fi password sitting in third.
Red Star
And-
Belgrade.
Rennes Vesda.
I love that you didn't even attempt.
I love that.
It's Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah. And then Young Boys sitting in
Like Young
final
Boys.
Like
points,
young boys. That's the way young boys should
So
sit.
between the two of them, they're going to duke it out for a Europa League place because Leipzig are very much
They're on
happy
fire.
where they
Yeah.
stand.
Yep.
So can't be caught there. Group H, now this is starting to look interesting. We spoke about one Portuguese side being disappointing. Porto, the opposite, doing very well in the Champions League.
They never disappoint.
They-
To a degree. They never. I think until about the 16s, the quarterfinals, FC Porto never
That's when it gets
But I was
difficult for them,
pleasantly-
yeah.
Yes.
Another tough stadium to go to, the Dragao in
Yeah,
Porto.
no, it's-
It can be really cold. It can be a really cold night up in the north of Portugal.
And cold reception
And
too.
a cold reception for you too. So very interesting group. Antwerp, obviously, they are not going anywhere. The mathematics for it, for them to qualify for Europa League, would mean they would have to overturn the 11-goal deficit in their next game against Barcelona.
And that's
so
close to
I
impossible.
don't know if Antwerp are going to overturn an 11-goal deficit against Barcelona.
Even if we were playing for Barcelona, they would never.
No, I don't
Yes, they
see
would.
it. I don't
And
see
shout
it.
out to
But
Shakhtar,
shout out,
eh?
yes, can I shout out Shakhtar Donetsk for what they did to Barcelona?
Yeah,
I was
no.
not
Yeah.
anticipating that.
yeah, neither was my Betway
No
account,
one.
trust me.
They've got, this week was a bit. It's Man United here, it's Barcelona here. But just generally, Shakhtar has a thing of producing, because they've got a system, right? They take a lot of youngsters in Brazil, bring them over with their parents, and I don't want to say groom them. Let me say they develop them. And they tend to go into the Shakhtar Donetsk first team, and then they do the business. The likes of your Willian actually was bought from Shakhtar.
Yeah.
And there's
Fred
is from Shakhtar. So there's quite a number of players. So the system they have at Shakhtar works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Shakhtar's
But
not a foreign
also-
name to us as people who've watched Champions League
Not
football
at all.
regularly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shakhtar is Ukrainian, correct?
Yes,
And
correct.
I
And
also
that's-
want to exactly.
That's
I want
that's
to,
the point I wanted to make is for
Me-
them to
yeah.
be
For
performing
them
as
to be
well as
able to
they are
perform
under the
circumstances.
that
Yeah.
they've suffered over the past few
Yeah, yeah.
years is quite impressive.
Yeah.
So, but I do believe Porto and Barcelona will be strong enough to qualify
Definitely.
from this group. However, Shakhtar in Europa League, watch out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the Champions League, they can knock out any of those.
It can
other
happen.
guys.
Porto,
Because they've already
possibly.
they've already ticked their box with
Won't
Barca,
be the first
right?
time
Exactly.
Barcelona's finished third in a Champions League group.
Yeah, no,
Manchester United played Barcelona in a Europa League
Look, let's be
fixture
honest.
for that very reason.
They
Yeah,
know
look, I
what
mean-
life is like down there.
Yeah, Barcelona is becoming average, you know.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
I think
it's not
they're-
always going to be
I think
sunny.
they're a better side at the moment than they were when
Yeah,
they were
they were,
really
yeah.
struggling when COVID first hit and Barcelona sort of really
I
found their
think
first.
their finances really dealt them a big blow. You know, they haven't really
Absolutely.
been a Barcelona that we know and
Juan
love. You
Laporta.
know?
must go.
Poza is saying Barcelona just need a coach. They must do away with that grave experiment of Xavi.
I don't think.
Well,
think
ever
Xavi
since
is bad.
Xavi came back, there seemed to be a little bit of stability in that team, in my view.
You see, the thing is, it's Barcelona aren't far down enough the picking order for me to say, hey, listen, things
There's a
aren't
problem.
going well because they're sitting where they are after Jude Bellingham scoring 2 goals.
Yeah.
You know, one
And who
was a
won the
wonder
league
goal.
last
I was
season?
about to say this is we can't say like they won the league last season with a Real Madrid team. Yes, without like
who's
let's take
spending
out
money?
Let's take out Jude. But Benzema was there. Toni Kroos was there.
Yeah.
Luka Modric was there. Vini Jr. was there. Rodrigo was there. So Thibaut Courtois was a
Stars.
keeper. So like just listen to the caliber of names that I'm saying. But Barcelona yet were able to punch above all of that and go on to win the league.
And looking
Yeah.
at that Xavi
No.
Pedri combination, that Xavi Hernandez, the manager, not Xavi was brave enough to bring in Xavi and Pedri.
Is it Javi or Gavi?
Well, maybe
Okay.
I'm wrong, but
I'm just also trying to get like
Yeah.
how do you pronounce
from
it?
what I believe, it's Xavi
Oh,
Okay.
by how Spanish articulation
Or
would
not
go,
Javi.
but also who knows?
and the
Not
X one
me.
is Xavi.
Xavi. Yeah.
And then Xavi Hernandez is the coach. That's the one I'm talking about. So I'm saying he should be commended for being brave enough to pair those two and look at the results that it's reaping.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real standout for me in the Barcelona side. But we've given half an hour to Champions League football
Wow.
and European football. I hope that keeps the comments a little happy for us, ignoring La Liga and Serie A and Bundesliga and stuff. Sorry, guys.
And
Sure.
with, and
Only
with,
have an hour of a show.
Yeah.
and also quickly on the comments from the standings that we were looking at, Kagiso Kekana saying the Magpies will qualify with 10 points because they're currently sitting on 4. I don't
To
think
win
that's-
2 games.
I
I
no
don't see
ways.
it.
It's possible, but
I don't see it.
guys, let's move on to the Premier League because I want to finish on that Soweto Derby coming up because we have an announcement for that we're not sure if you've heard it on the show.
Astition.
But if you haven't heard, then it's because you don't follow the social platforms and you should be following them anyway. Guys, going home, Premier League. This is something close to my heart, and we spoke about the mental health side of the game when Dele Alli was on Gary Neville's show for Sky. And it's reared its ugly head once again. Depression affecting our much beloved Lyle Foster in Burnley. Burnley making the announcement this week. Super sub. This is one of the... I discussed this with an Uber driver this week, funnily enough, where he was talking about Chelsea and like where they go from here. And I said, these are the factors that can affect you as Chelsea, having put young players on really long contracts to be able to spend the sort of money you've spent.
Yeah.
Is that they've got the talent, you've got the systems, you should be able to succeed for a very long time. But things like depression, things like injuries, all of these things could play a part in Chelsea reaping the benefits of getting young players on really long contracts.
Yeah, it's scary because I saw the Burnley statement and also what they've tweeted when they said 75% of footballers go through some sort of mental
Oh yeah,
health
from the
issues.
PFA. Yeah.
It's scary, eh? You know, if you think about it, I mean, Len always say, you know, sometimes we forget that these people are human, you know, and we expect miracle from them. And I just like how Bentley went about it and say, you know what, take your time off and get well. We don't know how much of footballing reasons are part of his issues, you know. It could be other issues that are non-football related, you know.
But remember, sorry for interrupting, but I think, we don't know. But the reasons why, he mentioned something around him feeling depressed and lonely when he was at Westerlo a while ago. So I think it has been, something that has been affecting him. I might not know what the reasons are, but I think being lonely, being away from home might also contribute.
Yeah, well, tomorrow afternoon, 5:00, I think things are only going to get worse for Burnley. They have to travel to the Emirates.
Yeah.
More kids.
Look, Arsenal wished him well.
They did.
Yeah, well,
Of course. I mean,
who wouldn't, you know? I mean,
I think all football clubs think it's very important to.
because they know that even within their structures, they probably have people that are dealing with mental health issues, you know, and it's just that Lyle Foster went out and say, you know what I mean?
It's not like an Arsenal side that they are currently should be fearing any sort of side that Burnley can put forward the way that Burnley are playing in recent weeks and the way that Arsenal are playing in recent weeks.
Any
So
team
even
in the
if
league, for that matter.
even if Lyle Foster were to be available and play,
And how much
so
of-
it's definitely a sincere well-wishing from Arsenal, because I don't think they're fearful of a Lyle Foster-led Burnley.
Look,
And how much of that has contributed to his mental issues? I mean, being on the side that is not winning.
Yeah,
I don't think
No, but
I
he
don't think
can't carry
that's I don't
that.
think that's the case. I think
Yeah.
That's
know
what I'm
what?
saying. How much of that might have contributed?
maybe 1%. Because that has more bearings on the coach than it has
Exactly.
in most
Yeah.
instances
It's
than it
not
has
a
on the
lo-
players.
no.
More so, he just signed a longer contract. I think more than anything, it's
Have you ever dealt with a feeling of? I want to put it across in a way that you'll get me.
have I ever been an Arsenal supporter? Yes.
In a situation where you feel like you are a failure and you've let people down,
feelings of inadequacy. Yeah.
you know, that has got a very strong bearing to your mental health. If you are a
I
winner,
understand that, but considering how well relatively well he's done, I think he scored 3 goals in 10 appearances.
Yeah, but I get what
not
you're
be-
saying. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying, Super Sub, is that our understanding in psychology from a mental health perspective, particularly with men, is the irrational sense of inadequacy that can creep up. So even though we can say, Lal, you're doing great, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow, you're doing amazing. There's no South African player achieving great things like you today.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he can't see it that way because of the irrational sense of inadequacy that can overcome us at times. I'm not sure that's the case.
we know we're all
don't-
speculating, but
yeah,
those can
but
be contributing
it
factors.
certainly can be a factor.
You know, this thing with Lyle Foster, ne? It got me thinking. Yesterday when I was driving, I was not in an Uber, so I had nobody to talk to. So that's why I had to think.
What?
Never mind. I think part and parcel of why Lyle Foster is in the space that he's in, it's also a case of like the family thing, not being around, being homesick. Yes, he's been overseas for a long time, but moving from Belgium to the UK and expectations from the championship now to the Premier League is not the same. Like, you're a superstar, you can't even go to the Pick and Pay there and buy a loaf of bread without people mobbing you and all of that jazz. So what got me thinking was, could this also be part and parcel why a lot of South African players do not survive playing overseas?
Yeah, it could be a contributing factor as well. You can't rule that out because we
The
don't handle
Yeah.
things the same.
Loneliness. Sometimes being
being
away from
lonely,
home, unfamiliar
Majita are not
surroundings.
there, you can't go to a Shisanyama. Because in as much as we are critical of footballers, and we are critical of them a lot of the times, but we forget that after facing 90,000 people there by Nazareth there,
Yeah.
there's a let out that I need. Maybe my let out is going to a Shisanyama. Why should you judge me for doing that?
Yeah, for sure.
My let out is going to
A strip
the
club.
TS Galaxy nickname restaurant. Why should you judge me?
What?
Well, I want to head over to the YouTube comments for a little bit, and thank you all for your well wishes for Lal. I think that's really
yeah.
terrific
Yeah.
of all of you ballers, and it shows the sort of ballers we have.
And there was a sign of his mental health
State.
issues. Remember his reaction? Who were they playing? Were they playing Palace or were they playing Nottingham Forest when he got red carded?
Oh, I remember that.
What he did was not warranted. It was unnecessary.
So
But the
that
way
was
he-
So you
a,
said
that
he
was a cry for
exhibiting-
help.
He was
Yes,
exhibiting
the way
signs
he
of-
snapped, and that's when I think the first time I heard from
Because I think company went out to say
his company
is
said
not well.
something. Yes,
Yeah, and he was very sympathetic with him.
He's like, yo, you know what? We're not gonna be on his case. Da 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 da.
Well, more than anything, a big shout out to him and also the team for seeing that there is a cry out for help, because I think the most important thing is a person being able to come out, having an environment that is conducive enough where you are able to come out and say, look, I am struggling, and only then can you get the help. I think that's really what's imperative. So he will hopefully make a recovery. We need him back at Burnley.
Yeah, we need
They're
him.
going up against Bowlen, so it's not going to be a walk in the park.
We need him
But,
against
I mean, we need
Benin.
him healthy
No, no,
and
no.
okay.
We need him
you
in
know?
January.
We need him healthy.
We need him in January.
There's a
Yeah.
around the corner here.
Wolves taking on Spurs. Wolves will be very happy to be at home against the Spurs side that has a couple suspensions and
hectic.
an injury to James Maddison
And a red card to Romero.
and a red card to Romero, who's been very good
have
in
you
defense.
ever seen
Romero has been having the
insanity
worst
of a
life.
football match?
Never. That London derby will go down in history as one of the craziest London derbies you've ever seen.
Indeed.
Say what you want about Angie Postecoglou.
Postecoglou.
Should have just
Say
said
what you want. He is entertaining. Huh? This is an entertaining Premier League season. Thanks
well,
to
he's the
him.
only manager that came out and said VAR. He was for a VAR, and actually, you know. But
And,
people are saying, you know,
is he?
And Mauricio came out saying that coaches need to just get on with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he
And
won.
allow the because he won.
I mean, when you start to...
Don't say it like coaches are bitter.
But no, they are being critical of a system that was supposed to come in to assist, but in case it's making matters worse.
yeah.
VAR, and I think we sat here and said, I think it was with the Liverpool situation. We said VAR is called a video assistant referee for a reason.
Yeah.
But it is not assisting. It's now video.
Era. Assistant.
No, then it's going to be fair.
VER, exactly.
Yes. I was trying to look for a word. But
Video
let me not
as-
use that one. It's
That's
fine.
horrible. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see if this is the beginning of the end for Spurs run as like title contenders, because I think many people would have thought, you know, they're not really going to go and win it, are they? And I think this is now, I mean, so this last week we saw Arsenal and Spurs ending their unbeaten runs.
Unfortunately, the manner in which it happened.
These last
Uncle, why do you
couple-
put it like
Yeah.
that? They didn't end them. Their unbeaten runs were ended by other people.
I mean, it's the
I
same thing,
apologize.
is it not?
Semantics.
Hey, boo.
Anyway, what
Oxalaya,
I'm
the-
trying
the-
to
the
what I'm
unbeaten
trying
run
to
is not
get
there
at,
anymore.
yeah, what I'm trying to
Yeah.
get at is
Excuse.
as the Premier League stands to this day, it is too competitive, I believe, for any team to achieve that ever again.
Yeah, I know it's difficult.
I believe that Arsenal will be the only team in Premier League history, as long as I live, to achieve the invincible status.
Yeah, I know.
And that was many, many years ago.
And that was some time ago.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace versus Everton. Let's move on.
Wait, but what
Oh,
are we
what
saying?
is
Are we
Spurs-
saying Arsenal is
I-
actually winning against Burnley, considering how many
Yes.
injuries
Yes.
or questionable injuries they
Aye,
have?
Arsenal will win that. It's Burnley
Arsenal's
and at
winning
home at the
against
Emirates.
Burnley, yo.
And I think Wolves will stifle Spurs. Spurs are going to struggle with suspensions and injuries.
Okay.
And I think they're going to struggle without James Maddison. And I think Wolves are actually going to win that one.
Could this be before you move on, Marco? Could this be like the dip, the beginning of a dip for Tottenham?
A little dip. No, I'm not saying anything crazy. And
Yeah.
I think when the season started, will Spurs have been thinking we need to be top 4?
Yeah.
No, I think they're like, we need to start recovering, maybe be top 6, whatever. And I think they will achieve those goals by the end of the season. But I don't think I think that they will finish perhaps top 4. They'll be competing for it.
Say why I'm asking that. We are facing now a very critical stage of Premier League
Very critical.
where fixtures are going to be bumper to bumper, and whoever comes on top in January traditionally goes all the way.
Except if you're Arsenal.
Well, except if you're Arsenal,
Yeah.
you're not.
Because the last minute.
So it will
anything
be
can
interesting to
change.
see how Tottenham do. But I think with James Maddison injured and all the other guys and Romero's red card, I think they're going to be in trouble. I think they're going to lose. They're going to drop few more points.
So my reading of it is they're gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink at Wolves, because if you look at their next couple of fixtures, they've got Wolves, they've got Villa, they've got Man City, they've
Villa,
got West Ham, they've got Newcastle. Out of all those fixtures, you'd want to get points against Wolves,
Yeah.
considering the others.
Other teams, yes, I agree with. That's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna be a rough patch coming up for Tottenham. It will be interesting to see, but I don't think they're gonna get maximum point out of those fixtures that you just mentioned.
Crystal Palace taking on Everton. Everton on the rise, on the up, coming back. Early game on a Saturday. We speak about Crystal Palace on a Friday night being a tough place to go to. Crystal Palace at the moment. I saw someone posted something really funny about Jordan Ayew. And it's someone posted about Jordan Ayew playing the most consecutive fixtures of almost anyone. So as in he's fit and available for teams more than any other player. And then someone put there, unfortunately, for Crystal Palace.
Wow. But what has he
Look,
done for Crystal
Everton-
Palace?
Okay.
He's been there, a stalwart. He's been there, available. He's been playing games.
Look, I don't think he's a standout player. He has been a standout player that we known him to be, you know.
I think Everton can try sneaking a result. They've got a mixed bag of upcoming fixtures as well, because next is Man United. I mean that they can win, surely.
Wow.
What?
What did I do?
Okay.
What did I say?
Continue.
Anyway, and then they've got Nottingham Forest after that, and then 2 toughies in Newcastle and Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
So out of those, I think they will fancy themselves against Palace, Forest, and United.
Away at Palace.
Yeah, it's not a lunchtime kickoff, and
So in their last few results where we feel that they've performed well, they did get an away win at West Ham. They got a home win against Bournemouth. They somehow lost to Luton at home. They lost to Liverpool away, which was understandable. And they got that very impressive draw against Brighton at home. So the impressive win away to West Ham is what stands out. But it seems like the 2 fixtures where we say, they're on the way back up is a 3-0 win against Bournemouth at home and the 1-1 draw against Brighton at home. So I wonder if away from home at Crystal Palace, if it's as easy for them. And then, like you say, their next fixture coming up will be against Manchester United after that. So it should be interesting. They will be at home against Manchester United, who I think are dying for away games because they are struggling at home. And that's actually the next fixture to pick up on. Is Manchester United are taking on Luton,
Come on, Luton.
at home.
come on, Luton.
Luton is another one that I was pleasantly surprised at and how they performed last week.
Yeah, they're not a bad side, are they?
No,
Are
no,
they?
I think the threads are starting to thread
Okay.
for Luton. In the
Okay.
beginning, again, it was like, have I ever made the giraffe analysis before? So when they started in the Premier League,
mean
they were
analogy?
like
Nah, you've
Like
done
a
it.
baby giraffe.
yes, like
Don't
a
do it
baby.
again.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's
So like that's what Luton are. So slowly, surely
They're gaining their
they
strength.
like, you know, like, okay, cool. We're learning how to travel. Okay, the intensity of Premier League matches is not the same as in the Championship. Okay, cool. We need to almost like measure points. Like, okay, cool. We can try our hand at Sheffield, maybe at Everton, maybe at Bournemouth. Da 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 da.
But I think what's going to be key, and let's get to the actual game rather than Luton and Man United overall, is that Luton will be coming into this one thinking if we can frustrate Man United for 30 minutes, the crowd will start getting on their back because obviously Man United fans are really frustrated at the moment. If they can stifle Man United, which is very possible even at Old Trafford at the moment, if they'll know that if you can keep it solid, keep the game a little bit dirty, get a little bit aggressive, get them a bit raffled, and try hit them on the break and get Man United fans fearing for losing another game, they've got a chance in this fixture.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they will, with the way, like we said, with the way United have been playing, they will fancy their chances. And there's a level of bravery that I've seen them approach games in recent matches that they didn't have at the start of the season.
Yeah,
you know,
and also being at number 17 will give them that confidence boost to say,
There's
you know
nothing
what,
to lose.
if we win the next game, we are closer to
Yeah, well, with
we're
draws,
closer out of danger. Sorry,
yeah, like how Everton got out of the danger zone to, well, not the promised land per se, but you can call it the promised land.
Yeah, but I don't see Luton winning against Manchester United as much as they might have had a lucky break last week. But I see Manchester United coming home with a win. Well, staying home with the win.
Well, they're on 6 points with that solitary win.
Yeah.
And 3 draws and 7 losses, keeping them tied 17th place realistically. Only on goal difference are they ahead of Bournemouth. That anything could happen and slip them right back into the relegation zone.
Yeah.
So I think Luton's going to be one of those that we're going to watch all season along with Sheffield United and Burnley, where we're going to be watching them sort of playing with relegation all season. I think, I
think Bournemouth will come out of it. I think they're experienced enough to be able to get themselves out of that danger zone.
They're the next fixture, seeing as we're speaking about Bournemouth, and they're hosting Newcastle at home, who are just coming back from a difficult
Maybe
trip.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah, you actually did.
Bournemouth, they're coming, but look, Newcastle are coming back from a difficult Champions League excursion. Bournemouth, the form they're in, Len, not going to present too much of a problem for this Newcastle side, are they?
Nah, I doubt it.
Bournemouth just aren't in good enough form to really stifle Newcastle, are they?
They won't. And if you look at Newcastle, from where in their past 3 very difficult fixtures, they won 2 out of the 3, but they lost 1 that they would have most likely would have loved to win out of all the other 2 that they won in terms of stature of the competitions. So they'll be looking to bounce back, to be like, hey, guys, keep your heads up.
But let's also be fair to Bournemouth. I mean, their last 2, if not 3 encounters have been against, some of the best. They had to play City, they had to play Liverpool. So we can't then go and say that.
Well, let's put it this way. Okay,
Yeah.
the goal difference issue we understand because they've played against Manchester City in recent weeks. But the only win they have so far in the Premier League this season
Burnley.
is against fellow strugglers Burnley.
Yeah,
It's like
if you're struggling,
when Newcastle is coming to town and you say, have Bournemouth caused any problems for any of the bigger sides as yet? And you look at it and you say, they drew against a poor Chelsea side and they drew on the opening weekend against West Ham. But since then, they've caused no problems for bigger sides. Liverpool getting wins, Spurs getting wins, Brighton getting a win, Arsenal getting a big fat win, Everton taking a big fat win against Bournemouth. I think this is like the safest bet that we've gone through so far.
You're right.
Is that a good Newcastle side traveling to Bournemouth, they're going to bounce back.
I agree. And considering that as much as it's actually the opposite side of the spectrum, whereas Bournemouth has been playing, relatively big teams and not doing well, whereas Newcastle playing Arsenal, playing Manchester United and coming home comfortably with a win. Obviously, Champions League, Dortmund was going to be a bit of a challenge. So, and they're confident after this Arsenal loss that was very controversial, which, did a lot of things, I'm sure. They are very confident, so they're going to come in there with guns blazing.
Let's move on to the Sunday fixture before we go back to Newcastle versus Arsenal. I think I'd like one word on that from Len. But Aston Villa hosting Fulham, another guarantee.
Yeah,
Villa's home form, Fulham not very good. Yeah. Brighton against Sheffield United, again, another guarantee. Sure, I'm going to make money this weekend, baby.
It's an easy Brighton.
Hey, Brighton at home to Sheffield United. After playing very well in Europe this week as well.
That's a win.
Yeah,
That's straight up.
Liverpool at home to Brentford.
tricky, but Brentford
Brentford
have been
can be
shy.
Brentford can change.
But
on
Brentford
you.
can be tricky.
Exactly.
But I think Liverpool at home.
I don't know.
And also, I mean, having lost in the Europa also because of VAR, it is said. Somebody said they went to France to lose.
Toulouse.
Toulouse.
See what he did there?
Liverpool for the win.
Okay,
Klopp
so
will be looking to bounce back.
What's the drama
here's
with Mo
Brentford's
Salah?
last 3 fixtures in the Premier League. 3-2 win against West Ham at home, a 2-0 win away at Chelsea, and a 3-0 win at home against Burnley.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Brentford can change
Brentford
on you.
can change it,
Yeah.
but I think Liverpool might stick a comeback.
The same Liverpool that drew against Luton and went to Paris to lose.
And they almost lost that
To
game
France to
against
lose.
Luton.
France to lose.
Yeah.
They did.
It was
But
very,
I say
very
Brentford is
close.
taking this one.
Okay, so we're talking about Liverpool's away form, which is where they've been losing games, right?
Yes.
So they went to France, lost the game, drew away at Luton, drew away at Brighton, lost away at Spurs. Their last 2 home fixtures, Liverpool against Everton, a 2-0 win. Liverpool against Nottingham Forest, a 3-0 win. Liverpool against West Ham at home, a 3-1 win. Losing away at Wolves, winning 3-0 against Aston Villa at home, winning 3-1 against Bournemouth. They got the best home form in the Premier League this season.
When you look
And I think that's why I would back Liverpool to win this fixture, even though Brentford can be a tricky one. Their home form is insane. Super sub?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Liverpool at home, you could be leading, but in the last 5 minutes they can just sneak it in and then take the win. So I think they're very consistent, and yeah, I think they're gonna take it.
Yeah. West Ham, bit of a hit and miss team. We were thinking great things of them earlier in the season, but then now we're starting to see some of the cracks in the armor with West Ham. You get cracks in the armor. Guys, come on. West Ham cracks in the armor. They are at home to Nottingham Forest on Sunday at 4:00. Guys, thoughts?
West Ham will win the game. It's also one of those, they're against Nottingham Forest. Yes, Nottingham are, the two of them are actually, I think, neck and neck. They're like, one is number what, the other one follows on the log. So they're not that far off from each other. But I think David Moyes being David Moyes, he has a way of turning it up when you least expect it. And West Ham will be playing at the London Stadium. They'll be playing at home. So
I actually say win for Nottingham.
I say West Ham.
I say I wouldn't bet on this game because I would normally traditionally go with West Ham at home, right? You expect them to do well. But looking at West Ham's recent form in the
Exactly.
Premier League, a 3-2 loss to Brentford, a 1-0 loss at home to Everton, a 4-1
another
loss
loss.
at Aston Villa, and then a draw against Newcastle. The last time they won a football match was against Sheffield United at home,
Who are strugglers.
who's got no teeth,
Exactly.
right? And then before that, they had 2 losses before that game. You have to go all the way to the 1st of September for them to have a win besides that one against Sheffield United. And that was away at Luton,
Exactly.
who weren't in very good form
So
at
they're
that
collecting
stage.
points against all these strugglers.
West Ham really struggling outside of Europe, of course.
And that's why I say Nottingham win, considering how unwell they have been doing. Luton is actually, but they'd rather come home with a draw. They'd rather come home with 1 point as opposed to 0.
Speaking of draws, it's something that Nottingham haven't been bad at. They beat Aston Villa at home. Great result. They lost, got thumped, traveling to Liverpool. We know that's what happens when you go to Liverpool. But before that, 3 draws in a row.
Yep,
This one might
exactly.
have draw written all over it.
Exactly. Luton, Crystal
West Ham at
Palace,
home.
and Brentford.
I still think West Ham at home will pull off.
Yeah.
They'll pull off a result.
Okay.
I won't argue with you there, but I also won't be placing money on that one. I think it's too up and down. And then Chelsea, who are on the up, feeling good, feeling confident, gonna lose all those confident feelings at home to Manchester City on Sunday night, the fixture of the weekend. As Super Sub, I'll hand it over to you. Manchester City fan, scared of Chelsea?
No, not even. I think it's gonna be easy.
Because Chelsea are the same bad team, like they haven't improved as much as you would have liked, or because Man City are just that good?
I think Manchester City have found their form right now. During the season, Manchester City goes through a dip. They'll draw, maybe lose 1 game or 2. But from there on, they get onto the gear, and then it's just like smooth sailing from there on. And I think right now Manchester City have found the gear, and I think Pep is gunning to finish on top come the end of the year.
Finding the gear to come into the space, Manchester United could be picking up their old goalkeeper.
Oh, Nana.
What's my name?
What's his name?
No, I think the bridge will be collapsed once again. City are just too good. Chelsea, for me, yes,
Still in transition.
they might
still
have
in
won by a
transition.
big margin, but I still
Against-
don't see what I can't identify what team is playing in front of me.
I think Chelsea looked good because Spurs fell apart. And
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola will not he will not be naive and let his team fall apart the way that Angie Postecoglou. Like I said, it was entertaining. And he says, like, my team will always have a go, mate.
Yeah.
So I think that Chelsea would need a lot of resolve, a lot of cunning, and a lot of technical, tactical, everything to go right for them to get anything against City, let
I
alone
agree,
a
and I
win.
don't think they're there yet in order for them
they're
to
still
go
in
up
transition.
against. Yeah, no.
So a tough game for Chelsea. Probably comes at the wrong time for them because they had an opportunity to start gaining some momentum, gaining some quality. Maybe a chance for Cole Palmer to show City what they're missing by letting him go. But then their following few fixtures, it doesn't get much easier, Len.
For Chelsea.
For Chelsea, away to Newcastle, at home to Brighton. I mean, we know it gets easier just because anything's easier than City, but it doesn't get much easier because they have to travel to Everton, who have been good at home. They have to travel to Man United, who can turn a corner at any time, I suppose. That might be the one that they're picking out of the lot as saying, hey, there's our one for some points.
Yeah, the Newcastle one is...
Travel to Newcastle.
And they've got Newcastle, I think, twice in a space of about a month because the
They
League Cup
face
as
each other
well.
in the
Yeah.
League Cup, yeah.
But as things stand, they would want to sacrifice and not intentionally go out and say like, oh, we're going to lose. But they would rather lose the league game and win the quarterfinal of the year of the League Cup, because the closer you get to a cup final or getting to a cup final, it's almost like inject some level of confidence in the team. Even though it doesn't look like
It's looking bleak for them, man.
I don't know what Pochettino is doing. I don't even think he knows what he's doing.
And with what Marco just given us there, those fixtures, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Chelsea.
Yeah.
They're
I
going to
agree.
find themselves in trouble again, you know, because
the-
those fixtures, I don't see them coming out with points at Newcastle.
Yeah.
In as much as we think United a walkover, it might not even be that come the day. You know, they might
thing
even
is, if
struggle against United.
If both teams come against Manchester United low on confidence, that's Man United's chance to take you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that I think that's Man United's issue, is the confidence issue. But if they can build some confidence against you because you're low on confidence and you're shaky, then they'll devour you. So I think that's going to be interesting. Before we jet off away from the UK, Chelsea League Cup, could that be everything to them? A League Cup win.
That's all they have right now.
Could that really change can that accelerate the transition for them?
It depends how far back they are in the pecking order. Because you don't want to now start driving at 200 kilometers an hour going to Bloemfontein, passing Vereeniging, while the rest of us are 100 kilometers away from Bloem. We're going to get there before you.
I have a very important question now. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
No.
Okay, let me put it in there. You don't want to increase your speed or like.
Are you saying
go
they
up your
shouldn't
ga-
concentrate on Carabao Cup and sacrifice Premier League?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if they okay, cool. Because Carabao Cup final plays in I think about Jan, if not February, right? Win that and then start concentrating on the league. It's too late because already a lot of people have pulled away.
Yeah, look, I agree with you there. And I would like to believe that Chelsea fans will want their team to do really, really well to get back to like top 6, you know.
Yeah.
Chelsea shouldn't be sitting somewhere in 11 there. They should be consistently in top 6. And I think their fans will want that for
But
the team.
unfortunately, the only thing that's going to happen for them, like you've mentioned, the next 5 fixtures are going to be deadly. I believe that the only chance they are going to get a maximum points is when they face Sheffield, and that's only on the 16th of December.
You speak about top 6.
Yeah.
So there's a top 8 now. Ne? In this, I'm looking at the top 8 teams now. Please tell me which one Chelsea is most likely to replace between City, Spurs, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, and Man United.
None. But that's why I'm asking if the cup is everything for them, because it will give them something that, like, next season we've got a trophy, we in our transition period, we've got Pochettino here, the young players have got, and then they can really have a go at it next season.
But
Look,
if they
Marco,
go up against Newcastle firstly and come back with a win, that is going to boost their confidence.
Yeah.
With what you're saying, if you remember what happened to United, you guys won a trophy.
Yeah,
Finish
but we
top
got
4.
Glazers, guys. Come on, man. You
Ah,
might as well
but
cut
what I'm
off our
saying
legs.
is-
They've got Todd Boehly,
If we're using the same analogy,
both
if you-
American.
yeah, if we are using the same analogy, it's gonna be even difficult. You know, we can see what is happening with United.
But they're not in Europe.
They're not anyway.
They're not any.
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea is in Europe, but they're not playing in European competition.
No,
Yeah,
they-
but
Do
what
you
I'm
know
trying
who's
to
not going to
say
be in
is-
Europe anymore? Us, because we're jetting off with Tepe Worldwide.
We are still jetting, yay!
Brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Tepe, where are we jetting off to today?
My darling, we are going to keep it nice and cute. Let me just go to some of the stories I saw. Okay, actually, let's just go quickly to where White Dad is from. Is it Morocco or is it Egypt? Algeria.
My dad is from
Algeria?
Morocco.
No?
Yes.
There we
Yes.
go. So tragedy has struck the team. One of their players has lost their lives. They were in a car accident, unfortunately. So his name is, okay, I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly, so I'm just going to say RIP to him. And speaking about White Dad also, there is a bit of an issue. They are not happy with the officiator or the referee who's going to be officiating the match against Mamelodi Sundowns. They are saying that this person, his surname is Ndala, has been in charge of their matches in the past, and it came out for them winning. But it says that the game also took place in South Africa. It was the second leg of the 2021-21 CAF Champions League semi-finals against Kaizer Chiefs, and White Dad were eliminated from the competition after the encounter with the Glamour Boys. It was a 0-0 draw, but they were saying that they were not happy with the officiating of this person, and that's the reason why they do not want him to be officiating this match. So my question is that, do you think that teams have the right to say who they want to officiate a match?
No.
Rulane.
No, they don't have. And North African teams are silly. They always want to
Ruffle
get
feathers
Yeah,
and-
they always want. I don't know. They must win
They
the
want an
game.
unfair advantage.
Yeah, they must win the game in the field of play. They should not be even discussing anything that has to do with refereeing. That has nothing to do with them. North African teams are spoiled, and they have in the past got away with some dubious refereeing. And
Tactics and-
when it favors them, they keep quiet. They should just stay out of it.
I know we're running long ballers, but hey, you got us for extra time. Don't complain.
Yeah, so I mean, let me just do that one
We got
story,
a 12
guys, and let's
minutes.
move.
We got 12-minute stoppages, in onside as well.
Stoppage time, and also just the situation of we saw Arteta and many other coaches going out and saying that VAR something needs to be done about it. Once again, another question: do we continue with VAR? And also, were the reactions of certain coaches unjust? Did they have to go about it in that way, or could have they used other ways of dealing with this issue?
I'm going to say two things on the matter. Number one, me sitting at home saying, these coaches are being babies, complaining about VAR, what is one thing. That's the one side of me. The other side of me knows for a fact, if I were a manager and these VAR decisions were happening the way they were, I would be throwing more toys out the cot than any of those managers. I would be breaking things. I would be going mad. I would not have the patience for the level of errors and the level of inconsistency in VAR that we've seen this season. We thought VAR would get better. We said, I excused it a short time ago, saying it's in the early stages. Let them get used to it. Let them get better at officiating it. It's getting worse.
Should the referees be protected?
Absolutely.
No, refs need to be protected.
We saw it in the Rugby World Cup. The level of respect to the referees made the game flow really well. And that's what stood out for me watching rugby, because I
Because I
wasn't...
think referees are losing their authority.
in football, I don't know how much authority referees have ever had. Footballers aren't the most respectful towards referees, neither are the managers.
not.
But I hope that shifts a little bit, and that through enforcement by the FA, by the PFA, by the whoever.
My gripe is that when a VR decision is for you, you keep quiet, even if you see the unjust on the other team. I think in football, we should just we just need to allow VAR to happen and evolve. It's otherwise we would be sitting here, wouldn't be having what you call hand of God.
Yeah.
Football needs a little bit of controversy. It's
And that's
been
why
like
it's
that
history.
for years, and VR is part of the game. We just need to get on board and support VAR, in my view.
Just
I
get
am
good like
not
goal line
ashamed.
technology.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to benefit.
Yeah. And finally, guys, a very quick one. Rest in peace to Bongin Tuli of Amazulu FC.
Yeah, no, what
Yeah.
a sad story. Yeah, sad. I mean,
Yeah.
it
And
was-
we are done. Let's move.
Condolences to
Yeah.
the Ntuli family and
Yeah.
the Man
And the new wife.
family. Yes.
they were just been married now. It's just
Sad.
it's sad, man. Rest in peace to the
Age
guy. Yeah.
32. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a youngin.
He was very young, and yeah.
So let's move on. Thank you, Tsepi, for jetting us off. That was Around the World with Tsepi Worldwide, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Be sure to use the affiliate code ONSIDE when joining as a new member on the Betway app. Mamelodi Sundowns, Wydad, African Football League final, second leg. Aggregate score currently 1-2 in favor of Wydad. Mamelodi Sundowns at home, clean sheet and a goal is enough to win the African Football League on Sunday at 3 o'clock, when we won't be hungover from...
From the Soweto time.
Carry on.
Guys, Sundowns, a 1-0 win. It's written in the stars. They have to. They're so good at a 1-0 win at Loftus.
They're so good, and the Yellow Nation just need to go pack Loftus to the rafters. And
Really happy that
All
they changed the
In fact,
fixture.
everyone
All
needs to be there.
257
Doesn't
of
even
them.
have to be the Yellow Nation only.
yeah,
This is a
look,
national
Yeah.
match.
I'm
There's a lot
saying
of
Yellow Nation because you have
get
to
it.
wear the yellow jersey to get inside for free.
For free.
Isn't this considered a shade of yellow?
Yeah.
Gold,
That's
bro.
gold, bro.
Hey, I'm just trying to push my luck. But
So I think Mamelodi Sundowns stand a very good chance to win, to be the first one to win it, and they just need to go out there, and make sure that they deliver, because they
Clap
just
it, man.
it's theirs to lose actually. I mean, one goal, and I just hope it's not gonna be that kind of a game that is lost on errors.
Yeah.
they should have
Can we
taken.
talk about how beautiful it was to see the Wydad supporters filling up that stadium?
That's standard.
That's
for them.
standard with them that
Exactly.
side, and
Exactly.
yeah, look, good luck to Mamelodi Sundowns, because I think Wydad as well, they're gonna bring their A game. They're known to have flair, they're not.
76 million, well, in rands.
A lot of money.
It's
On
a
the
lot of
cake.
money
That's
to
a lot
play
of money.
for.
That's
But
a
I
lot of
also
money.
saw
But at the end of the
that,
day, we've
the
got 90
president,
minutes.
Mentioned that he's going to give the players some extra money. The Wydad's players, so there's some incentive for them if they were to win this.
Yeah, look, I mean,
And it's a
even
big,
for both sides,
yeah.
I think Sundowns, from what I heard, their structures are very, very good when it comes to paying their guys. I don't think any money goes back to the club. If they win something,
It's shared between all the players. But with Wydad and Sundowns, we're saying no national team. No, it doesn't work like that. Trust me, there are divisions in the PSL.
no, for sure. We're just being fair.
Okay.
We
I just
are
wanted
saying
to-
the
I just
Yellow
wanted to
Nation.
outline that.
The Yellow Nation must go and support their team. I support Orlando Pirates. I'm gonna be wearing black tomorrow.
Yeah, actually,
know?
Black Child says, to be honest, tribalism takes priority for me. I wouldn't mind them losing.
See, Chiefs fans.
Hey.
want them. So it's
Wow.
so it's apparently it's called Soweto FC versus Mamelodi Sundowns. So I don't know if Swallows is involved in this. They could probably be sitting on the side on some. We are not involved, but Chiefs fans, Pirates fans, they're like, you know what? We wish those ones must lose, type of thing. But we understand because it on the surface of it, it looks unfair to all 16 teams in the Premier League. In the Premiership. Why are these the only ones playing in that competition? But from a rankings perspective that was put forth by KEF, Sundowns were the top team in South Africa, hence they are in that competition. So I don't know. No, they won't take the trophy to the airport because that would be really silly. They'll just do a tour bus.
Soshanguvo.
Sosha,
Mamelodi.
But that's what they call it. They call it Maraba Stadium.
But FC.
Wow.
So let's move on. Just commendations to the organizers for shifting the fixture from Saturday to Sunday. That helps us all.
Motsepe wanted
as
to watch the
local
derby.
football fans.
But again, it just goes to show you that Pirates versus Chiefs, it's the biggest.
But it's not
derby.
sold out.
You know, I asked the question.
We are last-minute
I was
people.
asking somebody that could they be the reason for low ticket sales? Could it be that the derby is losing its thing, or it could be a form thing that both team has experienced in the past few weeks?
I can say that.
Or is the current economical
No, it's
climate?
not economical. We've seen it. We've seen that if an encounter is big enough and supporters are happy with their teams, they will come through. But you see Orlando Pirates and you see where Kaizer Chiefs is, and supporters have lost some type of faith towards their teams, and I don't think that they'd want to go there and be embarrassed even further sometimes. So that could also be the reason why.
I
Not
can
even
tell you
wanting
exactly
to
the
go.
reason why.
Tell me,
Everyone's
Fred.
coming to Disofeng to watch us live stream for the Soweto Derby. Join us there tomorrow at Disofeng in Soweto, where we will be live streaming a watch along for ONSIDE ZA for the Derby.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh
Can't
yeah,
wait for
okay,
that,
but
can't wait
guys,
for that.
I'm going to be so good for so famous station.
Yes,
A station.
yes,
It's gonna be
yes,
so much
yes,
fun,
yes,
you
yes,
guys. I
yes,
can't
yes.
wait to see everyone. Please come through. We're going to have a really, really good time.
Why are you lying to people?
Because
Why are
Because
you
we're gonna
lying
have to answer
people,
why you are
Tepe?
not.
Guys, we can't
No,
wait to
no,
get
no,
to
no.
Disofeng.
I am not willing to get murdered tomorrow. Tepe is not going to be there tomorrow. Don't let her lie
guys,
to you.
I'm going
She's
to be
going
at-
to FNB Stadium.
my bestie
She's
basically
at Soccer
decided to give
City.
me a VIP situation. So I'll be at the stadium. I'll be in the VIP suite, and then you guys are going to be going to Sofa. But I will come through
You guys
later,
need an
guys.
anti-climax, yes.
We should have
But I
just
was
kept
not
quiet.
lying.
You should just keep it moving, man. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna be at Disofeng tomorrow for the live streaming of the Soweto Derby. And just going back to the Soweto Derby and why it's not who
Sold out or
asked
what?
the question.
It was
you.
then. I'm sorry, it was Super Sub.
It's generally whether Chiefs or Pirates are doing well or bad. It's not the first time. It's been the case over the past couple of seasons with them not doing so well. The Soweto Derby is more than a soccer match. It's a social outing that
Experience.
happens once a year, right?
Wow.
At FNB, people drive from Pampierstad, from
When I live in Pampierstad, I knew
Kuruman,
it.
from
Emuna, get to it. We don't have time.
oh, sorry.
Station.
So the thing is, I think that interest of the social aspect of it, outside of the football, it's not there anymore.
Why not?
Hmm.
Where did it go?
It goes with a lot of factors that he mentioned. It's not just one factor to the side kind of thing. It's
Economical?
economy. It's both teams being half ishy. It's
Oh, no excitement.
like
Lanto.
I mean, if I gave you a VIP experience to the derby for tomorrow, would you go?
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
That's why I'm going. What do you mean?
No,
Okay.
I agree. And I think, for me, I still think the biggest factor is that if the two teams were strong and competing,
Yep.
and you had Chiefs and Pirates first and second in the PSL really going at it, winning football games, if they were the two best sides in African football today, like they have been in the past, a Soweto Derby would
Would have
be...
been sold out. I think it's the
Exactly.
form. I'm telling you.
because
I
I
think
mean-
Bring back this Chiefs, ne?
No,
Remember
I
this
think it's
Chiefs?
the form.
Hantle.
With
Where is Orlando
Bomato-
Pirates and where is Kaizer Chiefs on the lock
I think
standings?
it's 10 and 11 or 11 and 12, somewhere
Do you
there.
understand?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think it's the form.
or 8 and 9 or something, but they're next to each other.
You know, are we looking forward to a good outing, a good match between both teams? Are we going to just go in there and be like,
Pirates is 10, Chiefs is
Look,
7.
can I answer that,
Pirates
Seppi?
have played one fewer game than two fewer games than Chiefs, 10th and 7th.
yes.
So yeah, not great form.
To
Exactly.
answer what Seppi is asking, the biggest problem that we're going to have tomorrow is that we've got an Orlando Pirates coach who has just come back from a win and a new coach at Kaizer Chiefs who have just won. So they are going to be they're going to play it very, very careful. You know, they're not going to go at each other. And I'm seeing a stalemate again tomorrow.
But it's more pressure on
Itoripora.
it's more pressure on Jose Riviero because Kevin has made it clear that I'm here on an interim basis. I don't want the top job. Oh, just out of interest, apparently Pito has parted ways with what's the name of the team there in
The UAE guys.
in the UAE?
Al-Wada.
Al that one, yes. Reports are saying that he's parted ways with them.
It's been coming. Remember, we
Yeah.
did mention when we were talking about him being sick.
And his
sad.
health. I'm just happy that he's well.
Yeah.
Chiefs will seek him out surely now.
Can they
Really?
afford?
Really?
I'm not saying they can't. I'm
Chiefs has
asking,
got a lot
can
of
they?
money, Chief.
I'm not
Surely.
disputing.
Chiefs is like
But
Manchester
Chiefs-
United.
But, but we
They're
saw that
good
Chiefs has a
outside
tendency of
the field.
middling.
They've got money to
Yeah.
waste.
They meddle. Do you
So
think
would you-
Jingles is going to allow middling in how he runs things?
Look, I mean, if they're going to bring somebody like Pizzo, who we know that he travels with his technical team, he wants to be charge of his team, they're going to have to let go
And
of
al-
certain things.
And they
You're
can't.
in charge
That's
at
the
Chiefs
other issue.
today.
yeah.
You're in charge at Chiefs. You're looking for a new manager. He pops up. He's available. You take him on. You make him an offer, and you get out of. Is that the best case scenario for Chiefs? You make him an offer. You let him bring his technical team, and you get out of his way.
If for football reasons, that will be great for Kaizer Chiefs.
Holistically, I think.
Yeah, but for
Holistically-
you, it would
And
be terrible
realistically.
because
Yeah,
you're an Orlando Pirates fan.
nah, they're not gonna allow that.
Oh yeah, it
They're
won't
just
happen.
they're just too vested, just too involved in the running of the club that they would not allow.
If they were to do it and step back and say, "Talk to us when you need our support."
Yeah, for-
Which fairy tale would that be?
Exactly.
Talking about
speaking
coaches
of
before
fairy
you go.
tales,
if it were me, to answer, I don't know, you said you'd get, I'd be like, no, it's fine. I'm looking elsewhere. And most likely bring Mushin Ertugal back.
Yeah, and also
Again, just recycling.
what you said with Kevin saying he's just an interim coach. Those are just mind games. We know what we know what he's trying to do.
I agree.
You know, and on coaches, Brendan Truter, remember we did talk about him. He was not part of the technical team when Skukuna played Orlando Pirates during the week.
We saw that.
It looks like he might be out there as well.
He's on, what do they call that leave? There's a nice word about that leave that they give coaches in the PSL. It's that you get some sort of a leave, but we know
That
that
you
like,
lost your job.
you're out, chief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's out. But he's saying he's still part of, until the team come out with a statement to say
yeah, he's
he's
there.
gone, he's still part of the team.
Like you guys did say that it doesn't take BS.
So anyway, we do have to wrap up, guys. Thank you so much, Len Tsepi, Super Sub.
Solid.
Thank you,
Thank you so
guys.
much, Marco.
And thank you to you, ballers. We're looking forward to meeting so many of you at Disofeng tomorrow for the live stream of the Soweto Derby. Join us there. Come take your photos with all of us except for the ghost. No photos
He
allowed.
won't be there. Will he be there? Fella, you can't see ghosts.
He'll be there in spirit.
Yes.
Tepi, you've already broken one glass. Why are you trying to break all of them?
From me and the team. Stay onside, don't be offside. Be onside with us and Betway. We out of here.
Peace.
Danko.
Means thank you.